The map event is an event very similar to any roguelike game that you can find, where you will have to take paths that can have either buffs, debuffs, or drops for you. You can also get items. I will refer to them as silver and gold currency, since the names change every event to make it very simpler. By doing the map event, you can also get very nice items that can be used to further enhance the capabilities of your units. We'll talk about that more in the ability forge section in the video. So how does it work? When you will start the map event, you will want to clear the first stages, and by finishing them, you will get some exploration score. The score increases as you progress and can be increased further by taking negative effects on your team. If it's your first time, I would say just do a run to understand how it kind of works as a base. So why does the score actually matter? By taking buffs and especially debuffs, it will give you a multiplier to increase your final score. The score isn't that big of a deal, I'm gonna be honest. If you can get 150k in one run, which is very doable in the hardest difficulty, then you will get, I would say, like most of the rewards already. But in the very end of the event, you'll want to reach 5 million total to get, I guess, every total exploration score rewards. It may sound big, but it's really fucking small. You will reach it very fast. These type of event also bring bonus units. I will show them to you just after, but these units give you extra drops and increases your score as you use them. Some of them, like very old SR units, may be harder to use for newer players. So it's more for experienced players that can actually, I guess, keep them alive during a fight. We will now see every debuff and buff that you should know about. Which one should you take, which one you shouldn't take, since some of them are very, how can I say, annoying to have. I'm gonna start with like the very easy debuffs, those you can always take that it won't probably handicap you too much. Some debuffs, like if we're in a physical event, you're gonna use a physical team. So if you get magical attack down, that's not a problem at all. You even want magical attack down. It's a free score multiplier for you. The same will apply if we're on a magical event and they give you the choice to take attack down. It's free. The debuffs such as lowering ailment resistance and lowering ailment infliction rates are very good. That's because we will have cleansing weapons. So we don't really care if the boss actually can land a debuff or not. And for the infliction part, the stages are infinite. You can redo the stage if you want. If you get bad RNG trying to land a specific debuff, you can just redo the stage. That's not a problem. That's basically another free debuff you can take. There's also very, very, I guess, hard to use debuffs. The most notable one will be the healing reduction one. If you're not a very late game player, you probably will suffer a lot taking this debuff, since it will block, I would say, a big part of the healing that you can actually get. And the bosses do hit very hard. I would not very advise you to actually take this debuff, except if your team is like strong enough to actually do it without much healing or no healing even. And I mean, not now, but for those that will see the video before next week, we will unlock the extra stage. In the extra stage, we will have a new debuff that will be poison. A permanent poison that will be inflicted on you and you will take damage every turn. It can go from 500 to 1,000 to 2,000. It's not as bad as anti-healing, but 2,000 HP a turn, that may be a lot for many people. You need to make someone basically a heal bot for the rest of the fight. And you will probably need barriers. I would not really advise you to take this one. Maybe 500 seems manageable. 1,000 seems manageable. 2,000 is a lot. For the score increase, it's not that, it's kind of too risky for some players. You may want to think about taking this debuff. And next, do note that taking debuffs that increases the enemy's attack can be bad. If you will need Xaegis, or I guess a unit that can give intercept within their kit to actually survive the buff that you give to the enemy. They can easily one-shot the most whales of teams if you do not have intercept already. So generally, taking debuffs that makes you do less damage or makes the enemy tankier are way better than debuffs making the enemy stronger. You can stall the fights. You don't have a turn limit, you're fine. You just need to make sure that he doesn't kill you before you can't heal. Now I will explain how the game modes actually work. There's two ways to actually play the exploration mode. First times, you will always want to start with a score run. A score run is a run where you will focus on getting the most debuffs you can and the most bonus units you can to get the highest score possible. This will be not that useful, but it will maybe give you the chance to get the 150k mark to get the title, if you really wish to get the title. The more common run will be the chest run or loot run, I guess. You will be able to skip some of the less, I guess, dangerous debuffs, still get some score multipliers, but you will be able to actually go to the drops. These drops have clocks, which will be a very useful item, and you will be able to get gold currency. And this gold currency can be used to exchange items like the gemstone, the flute, and platinum tickets if you really farm that much. Do note, as of now, we do not have the extra trades where you can use 3,000 silver currency to make them into one gold currency. If you really want to farm and get the most plat tickets you can, you probably do not want to do it on this map event. You should maybe wait the next ones. Now onto the next section, which will be expeditions. This map event also brings new expeditions to the players. These expeditions will give you items and currency for the map event in general. It's usually the main source of them, and it is also where you will be able to use most of your clocks. There are two ways to farm, and this will be very important. The first, I guess, rule of thumb is that you do have the 200% George unit in this event, as people will see today or not, Teshma, you will want to use only one expedition slot where Teshma has to be a part of the team. After you put him on one team, you can skip only his expeditions so you can get the most rewards, as the passive that 200% George units get will be very important for the farming process. If you do have them, all the better. By doing these expeditions, you will be able to get different items such as the scrolls, or as the game calls them, the tomes. The tomes will be extremely useful, and we'll see more about them on the next section. And if you're asking what expedition should I farm, there's Expedition 1, Expedition 2, Expedition 3, and Expedition 4. I will be very simple and clear. Always, but I mean it, always farm the fourth one. 1, 2, and 3 are useless. The fourth one gives you the suspicious tome, and it's the only tome that you actually want. The other tomes are useless. They're just not as good as the fourth one. Always do the fourth one. So now you may be asking a question. Should you pull every 200% George units? And if you do not pull them, will your farm be bad? I will now show you Teshma along with the 6 different units that will release that will have a map event. And the simple plan is that if you're interested to pull in any of the 7 here, then you should maybe keep as much resources as possible to farm for their event, as they will also have the same event buff that Teshma has right now to actually do some big farming. And if none of them actually interests you or you want to skip all of them, then you don't really need to bother. You can just farm as much as you can and you do not miss on any effect buffed, as none of the other effects actually benefit the expedition farming session. So the units that will be 200% George in the future, I will also add the bonus units of these events in case you want to maximize your score. Here's the list of the different bonus units on every event that will come for the upcoming months. Finally, I will go on to the ability forge, or as the JP people call it, the enhancement everyone waited for, the ability forge, also known as enhancements. These enhancements are permanent stat added to your soulmates in Sacred. Each unit has 3 slots, but they will all only start with 1 slot. The other 2 slots can be unlocked with the gemstones and the flutes. You will need 5 for 1 unit. The gemstones are for the soulmates, the flutes are for the sacreds. Each stat will consume a scroll, tome, if you prefer, to be rolled. The scrolls have better rarities from bronze, silver to gold. Of course, the higher the rarity of the scroll is, the better the chances you actually get the good effects. But there's a multitude of stats to actually get, so which one should you actually aim for? I'm gonna be very honest, in the 9.9% of cases, you will only want the ability damage limit up, as the game calls it. This increases all your weapon damages and is easily the most important stat. This is only obtained by the suspicious scroll that the game gives you. That's also why it's the most important scroll of the game. None of them can actually give that except the suspicious tome. And because it's so good, it makes every other scroll looks useless. This may change in the future as JP is trying to rework the system, but I will inform you if that ever happens. But for now, this is the best and probably will stay the best. So now you may be asking which scroll should actually use and on who. The general rule is that you will use the silver scrolls on secrets the most, and you will use the gold ones on soulmates. The bronze ones can go on either, but it's most of the time gonna go to the soulmates to gamble the stats. If you ask why, it's simple as that soulmates have their stat alignment way bigger than secrets. So they have lower rates to actually get the good stats. And the gold ones makes them able to actually get these stats a bit easier. Secrets have it very easy. The silver ones are basically gold ones for them. You don't need to use gold ones on secrets. Even though it may sound very tempting, it's probably not worth it. But who should you actually upgrade? Why should you upgrade them? And when should you stop rolling for the stats? You will start, of course, with the secrets. It's very simple math. A sacred can have to a maximum of 12% damage cap up for the team. There are 5 soulmates on the field. And if you give 12% to everyone, this will go to 60% damage cap for the team. Whilst if you maxed 1 soulmate, it will only go to a maximum of 30%. So you can imagine that maxing 2 soulmates is the same value as maxing 1 sacred. you will always farm for the secrets first. And if you ask who should you upgrade, always look for what's the next event that's related to it. In the present day, it's light. We know the next event is gonna be light. So you should upgrade light secrets. Okay? This does not mean upgrade any light secret, since some of them really do not deserve the upgrade. Just focus on the very good ones and the very flexible ones, such as Mamoru, Caliburn, On the Rainbow, Orto, Bryoniac, and the Exceed secrets in general. But now you may think that when should you actually stop rolling, since you may gamble for an infinite amount of time to get maybe the 1% damage cap buff you're actually missing. The goal first is to spread the buffs. Give everyone a little bit of the damage cap up. The secrets can go from 1 to 4%. If you get 1%, that's completely fine. Just focus on another slot or another secret to actually get some percentages too. That's only for the start, of course. Later on, when you have more scrolls and farmed more, you will be able to change these 1% to 4% or 3, since sometimes RNG is bad and you will not get that 4% every time. The same will go for the soulmates. You will want to get maybe 5% at the very start if you can. If you really can, 7% is nice. But as the time will progress, we will transform these 5 or 7% into 8, into 9, and into 10. That's a very big important goal. In total, if you max everything, and I mean like everything on a team, the team will have about 90% damage cap up for weapons. This is almost doubling up your base damage. But this also means you will either need to do more combos or you will need to bring more supports, since some units cannot reach that new cap up state. They need more than before, since it's double the damage they did, and the old caps restrictions were bigger and it was harder to actually know if a unit could do more damage or not. Thank you for listening to me. Sorry for the mic. I have to apologize again. I do not have the best materials. I have to work with what I have. If it sounds bad, I will re-upload a mute version of this and I will add subtitles on it. Thank you for being here. Leave a comment, like. You can also give me tips, since I do not have much experience in the editing and, I guess, guide making field. Have a good day. And if you still have questions after this, you can contact me on Discord. I will put a link below. And as always check the sheet. The sheet always has stuff. Please do not turn a blind eye on it. It's always useful. I will soon make this guide onto the sheet on the following days if I can. Else, you will be notified on the Discord when I'm finally done with this. Thank you very much.